Welcome to the video. What I wanted to do was basically give a very quick overview on how to get your first chatbot up and live on your site within the next 30 minutes. How do I know what we're talking about? My name's Thomas. I run a AI automation and voice agent agency called We Are Ample AI. And we basically help specialize in automations, adding chatbots, voice agents, and basically systemizing elements in the business. Now, we're currently using a software called Chatbase. Chatbase is super easy to set up your first chatbot. Doesn't take much coding. I mean, there's actually zero coding involved. And it's a really easy way to basically have things on your website like frequently asked questions done. It does help integrate with things like Calendly as well, cal.com. And if you want to get a little bit more technical with it, you can actually send out webhooks to other softwares if you want to put them into make automations and things like that. But I wanted to give a brief demo on how to build a chatbot within the next, as I said, 20 to 30 minutes, set it up, give it a bit of testing, change the prompt, and then actually deploy live on your website. So come to Chatbase, we're going to add a new agent. And straight away, Chatbase is really easy in terms of giving the files and training the chatbot in a matter of minutes. So for example here, you can upload files if you've got SOPs for the business, if you've got anything that you keep in Google Docs files or just wording that you have about your services. This is a great way to just upload them directly into here. You can then come in and add plain text. So I find this quite handy when you've already got the model out there, the chatbot's up and live, and then you find little increments in the chatbot response that you need to update. It's easy to come in here, add a new row, and basically say, if this was to happen or this sort of question comes up, this is the type of response that you need to be doing. Then we've got website. This is the one we'll be using in a second. This is by far the easiest one to do to get your chatbot up and running exceptionally quickly. Then we've got Q&As. Again, straightforward. If you have a question that comes up quite often, you can just simply add the question and then add the answer that you want into here. And then finally, if you've got a Notion database or you keep a lot of stuff in Notion, then you can actually import Notion documents and pages directly into here. We actually never used this one. I've never used it, so I don't even know what happens if you click the import to Notion button, but I'm sure it gives you, ask for the page URL. So for this instance, we're going to pretend to be a local solar company to me. This is them. They are Synergy, and they actually do, I guess, things like air source heat pumps, commercial installations, solar stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to here and simply enter the URL for the website and click fetch links. As I said, it's the easiest way to get this sort of stuff set up. It's going to come back and it's given all of these pages. Now we are obviously on a free plan because we're not going to pay for this chatbot. And what you can only do is you can only add 10 websites on a free plan. So if I was going to say create agent, maximum is 10 links. So I'm quickly going to run through here and just delete some of these. Right, there we go. We've now got 10 links. The beauty of it is if you are on a paid plan, and for example, a company like this, if you've got a massive amount of pages on your website filled with information, you can essentially scrape all of that information. The more data you've got, the better the AI chatbot is trained, and then it's obviously going to have a better output. So now we click create agent. That's going to just collect all that information. Failed to communicate with the server. Try again. All right, fine. There we go. Not sure what happened there. And essentially that's now built the model. So we've now got the training in the LLM and essentially we can actually come in here and say, what do you do? And hopefully it'll give a response back saying we're doing something in solar. What service do you offer? Okay, cool. So it's still not massively trained. So that's fine because we can come over to sources, website. It has scraped all that. It's probably still training in the background. So whilst that's going away, obviously you need to make sure the chatbot fits your brand. You want to make sure that it looks good and then it sort of fills in what you want it to do. So I'm actually going to come into here and steal this logo. Just add that to downloads. Come back over to here. And then you can have a initial message. Hi, what can I help you with? It's perfectly fine. Suggested messages. That's going to be other things that it can say. So if I put in here, what services do you offer? And then if I put an enter space, I can give another one. Do you do solar? And then another one is always good. Can I book a call? Now what these will do is these will be sort of buttons that you can automatically press that's going to have a response triggered to it, so someone doesn't need to actually type something out. Then we can have a message placeholder. I always just click ask me anything. It's just an easy way to have in there. Then you can have footer. What you can do is once you're on a paid plan, you can remove Chatbase and then you can just have here powered by Synergy, for example. Below that light dark mode, we'll keep the light mode on just because I think it looks the best. Now we need to create an agent name. So obviously the company is called Synergy, I believe. Synergy AI Bot. That's going to come up there. Now we need to add a profile picture. So if I come to that, that's going to look absolutely no good. IN it is. Sod it. That's the logo. Fair enough. Sure, if obviously you're doing this, you could put a little bit more time into it and get it correct. Then you have the chat icon. Now this is the one that is actually hanging out on the bottom right of your page. And we'll do that again. It's a shame I can't scroll all the way across to the other side of the image, but IN again it is. You can get an idea as to what these can look like and how you can start to customize the bot to fit exactly what it is you want. What you then want to do is you want to have a look, where are we now, at the chat bubble icon, and you can sync this to the top. So if we do not want these chatbots to be blue, for example, we want to have it green, or I'm actually colorblind, but let's say that's green. Fits the energy, fits their branding, and then you can actually sync the top so it does it as well, which I think is just a really nice touch. Again, super easy to set up. Something that we always change as well is we drop this down to 1. What this does is this will make this pop-up message happen within 1 second. So if you want to increase that to 5 seconds, when someone loads on your website, it'll take 5 seconds before the automatic message will pop up. So just give a run through again. Initial message, hi, what can I help you with? The suggested buttons that we've got that are automatically here. Message placeholder, ask us anything. Collect user feedback is fine. Regenerate messages is fine. Footer, let's just say powered by Synergy. And you can see down there, it'll say it's powered by Synergy. And then you can actually remove the powered thing. Synergy AI bot, profile image, chat icon, color of the messages, chat bubble color. Just keep that the same unless you've got a really skew color in here and you could probably ping that to white. But again, there's no real point. There we go. And then you just click save. Now that is the bot one sort of trained, because we need to go back and double check, but now we've actually got the branding and the logo to fit what it is our branding is and how that will work. Then you can come into leads. Now this is something that you'd want to do if you want to collect lead information. For example, if the bot is communicating with someone and has been trained specifically to go through a sequence of questions and then actually ask for the information at the end. Could be a little bit more technical because you need to hook it up to make.com to then put it through an AI ChatGPT. Basically work out, is that lead qualified? Does it fit into what we do? If it does, you can then click these on and you can basically collect this information. Now, unfortunately, with Chatbase, it is a little bit limited with what you can have. They only give you 3 examples. I have no idea why it's not simple enough to just add another field in, something like postcode or address or whatever the business is that's needed. However, for this instance, we'll do. Then you want to come over to AI. Now, this is where you can handle the model and the actual prompt that it is you are working with. So in this instance, we are currently on ChatGPT 4.0 Mini, and you get a whole bunch of options that you can pick from, and you can test these out, work out which ones are working better for you, which one fits more of your brand voice. Below that, we've got the prompt. Now, Chatbase do give you some prompts that are already there. You can come in here and change them. You can make these a little bit different. It's working out what works for you, what you want the bot to do. For example, in this instance, I think just a customer support agent would work perfectly. Then we've got the role, the persona, and the constraints that what it is and cannot do. Temperature, you want to set the temperature depending on how strict you want the bot to follow what it's been trained. Typically, I keep it around 2. You want to give it some flexibility so it doesn't sound like it's just literally spitting out exactly the information you've put in. Gives it that sort of human element to it. And I'll click save there. Perfect. So now what we've done is we've set up the prompt, the model that we're going to use, and the temperature. We've designed the chatbot so it looks and feels part of the business. And then we've also initially trained the LLM on the website information. So now if we go back to the playground, we'll be able to ask it something again. What services do you offer? Hopefully this time around, it spits out everything that it does. Perfect. We can then go in again and say, do you do solar? And this will be an interesting one. Can I book a call? I wonder if it will spit the link out. Okay, so it will give you that. If a company, for example, or you want to import your own Calendly link, you can either go onto a higher plan, go into actions, set up a Calendly, and it'll open up in here. If you do not want to go onto a free plan, what you can actually do is you can go into sources, go to text, and if I pull up, for example, our booking call, book a virtual coffee, there we go. If I now come back over to this and say, when someone asks to book a call, give them this link. And I want to retrain that. And then this is going to spit them sort of like a, I don't know why that keeps happening. And then what it's going to do is it's going to spit out a book a meeting link, and they can click it, and that will take them directly to the page where they can book. So let's give it a quick test now. Might take a few minutes to see if that's going to kick in. There you go, book a call. Now, if I click that book a call, it's going to go directly to my Calendly where they can book an appointment or a meeting or whatever it is that you want them to do. Now, the best thing to do from this point onwards is to just run back and forth, basically asking it questions that you think are relevant. So I could say, how much is solar? And then if I don't like the answer that it spits out, I can either go back into sources and start to retrain it. I can either go into the AI model and say you're not supposed to give pricing. That one could be a constraint that you want to give it. Or an easy way that we find quite useful is because you only really start to see the areas where it's lacking when you come into sort of questions like this. You can go to activity, look at the recent activity that chatbot has had. We find this works a lot of the time. And for example, we have a look, how much is solar? If we don't like this answer, we can either go into here and revise the answer, or I think, as I mentioned earlier, what we prefer doing is actually going back to source, going back into text, and then specifically saying it can and cannot do something. So if someone asks something along these lines, this is what we want you to say. It's just a bit of an easier way, it's sort of hard-coded in, as opposed to actually just having a bot like this do that. And there you go. To connect that bot up, you want to go to connect, you'd want to make public, and then what you want to do is you want to take this chat-based code here, go over to your website and essentially copy and paste that into the head body. What that means is every page you go to on the website, the chatbot is automatically going to be there. So if you came to a site like this, there you go. The bot is already there. It's ready to go. You can ask it questions, test it out, play around with it, and that would be in the drop down here. These guys do not have a chatbot already, so this could be a cool demo to send over to them. I doubt it. That will do it though. But yeah, essentially, that is, how long did this take? 13 minutes. It is super easy to get a chatbot up and running. Where the testing and playing around with and the time can come into it is teaching it and training it how to answer things specifically. Give it a specific role. So for example, if you want it to qualify leads, you need to tell the AI model, or in the prompt, which would be in the settings in the AI, that you want it to first ask where they're based. Does that work for you? Yes. Go down to the next one. What sort of installation or service are you looking for? Do you have it? Yes. Perfect. Are they ready to get it done in the next week or two? That's a qualified lead. Either book in a call or fill out the information here. That's when you can really start to get technical with them and really make these things work over time. But if you're looking to just get a bot on your website super quickly, just to answer some frequently asked questions, this is exactly how to do that. I hope you've enjoyed the video. That is the first YouTube video we have posted, but are going to be doing a lot more in terms of everything about voice AI agents, make automations, chatbot setups, and how to start using these sort of services to sell to businesses and how businesses can set these things up themselves. If you like the video, drop a like. If you have any video recommendations, obviously drop them below in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.